Hey guys, welcome back to another video here, and today I'm going to be ranking all, well, not really all. I couldn't find Pinhead or a different or like artist or anything, so might be missing out on a few killers, like 2 killers, but there's still 25 killers here, so yeah. And if you don't know how tier lists work, basically S tier is like the best of the best, A is like pretty good, B is like okay, C is kind of bad, and D is like really bad. So I think it goes from the oldest to newest, like yeah, it does. So yeah, let's just get into it. So first of all, the Trapper. His power is bear traps. There's there's not much more to say. They just take so long to set up around the map, and things take so long to get going that I'm sorry, bro, but you just suffer from the status effect that you're the first killer ever created. So I'm sorry, Evan, but you're all the way down there. The Wraith, the second killer, which I actually think he is a bit, I would say, I would almost want to put him in B, but something's telling me to put him in A because he is actually really good if you can get sneak attacks, and he also gets that burst of speed when he cloaks out. So honestly, I'll put him in A. His cloaking ability is really cool, and it's also very good to sneak up on survivors, and then it's not like, oh, you sneak up on them and then it takes like 3 seconds to cloak and then you can't catch up to them. No, you actually get a burst of speed, so yeah, I'm gonna put him here. And he also got a new buff. I think he can move really fast while cloaking now. I think that was a few months ago he got that, but yeah, he can move like really fast now. The Hillbilly. This really depends on what type of player you are. New players probably a C, but if you're really good at him, you can probably take him to S. S possibly S. I'm just gonna put him in B because his chainsaw ability is really cool, but he also has a. He used to be better than he is now because now he has a muffler, like he has it it can overheat now. So yeah, he wasn't as good as he once was, if that makes sense. The Nurse. I don't know why I paused there. Anyway, the Nurse. She is no doubt one of the best killers in the game. Now, this depends, yet again, like Billy, what type of player you are. Because it could either be a straight D or straight S. If you're really good with her, it's an S. But if you're not good with her, then it's a D. But we're gonna assume, like, everybody can use them. Okay, so basically how I'm gonna rank this is you're like this can you like if you're a noob you can like okay, it's gonna be kind of hard to explain. So if you're a noob, then you can use these easily, but if you're also a god, then you can use these. So I'm just gonna go and put that in S because yeah, I think it's an S. I think I'm pretty sure that would be an S because like she's really good if you get used to her, but unless you're an absolute bot like me and you don't know how to use her, then yes, it's a D or a C. But Myers. It feels bad to put Myers here, but he he just really isn't that good. He just isn't. I mean, think about it. His power can literally stop. Like in long matches, if you don't really kill anybody in that insta down state when you're stalking the survivors and they get all red maxed, then you're basically just a normal M1 killer or R2 killer in my instance that can just hit people for one health state and that's literally it. Your power's gone. So I'm sorry, Myers, but you're not that good. You know what I've noticed? It goes in a straight line, like worst to best. Okay, the Hag. The Hag is I'll put her in B as well. because her phantasm traps are good, but they also have a lot of downsides. Like if you crouch over them, they don't activate. People can they can flashlight them and they'll disappear. And you also have a limited amount of them that you can place around the map. And yeah, it's kind of sorry, Hag, but hey, you're still in the okay tier, so. Mm. The Doctor, I think I'll also put him in a B, cause oh, his power's pretty good. His uh his static blast, it allows you to shock everybody in your terror radius, which can tear up their madness and makes them see red stains and fake doctors and makes them occasionally scream, which is very good. And his shock therapy allows them to shorten loops because it stops the survivor from interacting with things for a few seconds, like pulling down a pallet or vaulting. So yeah, I think the Doctor is probably one of the balanced killers on this list. The Huntress, I'm gonna put the Huntress in A as well, because the Huntress, it's a weird one because sometimes her hatchets seem like they should hit, and other times, like sometimes they're like really close to the survivor and they feel like they should hit, and then other times they're like across the map and like not even pointing towards the survivor and they hit them. So like it's a weird one to put. And her power is just hatchets, which is really good because if players like shorten like if players like vault a pallet or like pull down a pallet and then they're stuck in that thing for a second, that animation. So then that's your chance to line up a hatchet and hit them. So yeah, I feel like the Huntress should belong in the A tier. I think that's pretty fair. Alright, we got Bubba or Texas Chainsaw from the films. I It's a weird one. Are you a basement camping Bubba? Or are you a friendly one? It depends. Um, I'll, I'll put him in B as well. There's a lot of B's because he really is just that okay kind of. I think he's one of the balanced killers in the game because he if he hits balanced objects like Hillbilly, he'll go into a tantrum state. But he can chainsaw sweep, which allows him to go really fast, and he can go really long, a long period of time. And yeah, I just feel like he's really balanced. Freddy. We don't talk about Freddy. Okay, now we have the pig. um, the pig, I feel like is really underrated. I feel like people don't use her that often to realize how good she actually is. Like, I'm gonna put her in A. I feel like the pig is really good. She can shorten down loops by ambushing. She can confuse survivors by ambushing. And she's a stealthy killer, and she doesn't require any stalking to become stealthy or anything like that. She can just become stealthy on her own. And yeah, I just feel it. And she also has her reverse bear traps, which are also pretty good. It puts the survivors on an edge, and if they think they can escape and you have a bear trap on them, well, they can't because yeah, they just can't. So anyway, yeah, I just feel like the pig is really underrated, and I feel like she's actually pretty good. The clown, C. The spirit, S. The legion. Sorry. Anyway, guys. Okay, for real, I'm actually gonna rank them now. Okay, so first, what did we have first? We had the clown. Basically, okay, so the clown. Um, so basically, I think I'll put him in C because he really isn't that good. I mean, his bottles are cool, but they're just bottles at the end of the day. You throw them at a survivor, they get stunned for a few seconds, they can't really see that good, and they slow down. They get slowed down by like 50%, I think. But I just don't think he's that good. I mean, personally, uh, yeah, I just don't think he's that good. Sorry for all you bottle fans. Who was next? It was bottle fans. Um, here we go. The nurse. Nope. I can't talk. Okay, we have the spirit. The spirit better than the nurse. No, get over there. Alright, the spirit is better than the nurse, in my opinion. Because if you get good at her, that didn't make sense. I can't talk. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Anyway, the spirit. She is really good if you get good at her. That doesn't make sense. So if you get good at her, there's basically no way of the survivors of telling where you're at, besides something that sounds like a vacuum or something, bro, like some static. And then you can basically tell where the survivors are pretty easy by moving plants and generator sparks and stuff like that. So honestly, I'm just gonna go and say it. She's the best killer in the game, in my opinion. In my opinion, she is no doubt the best killer in the game. The plague, the plague is sorry if I sound like I just woke up. It's literally like 6 in the morning, and I just woke up at like 5, and I was just like, all right, screw it, let's make a YouTube video. I think the plague is another A, because the plague is, I think she's really good, because the survivors kind of have to make a choice. Be injured the entire game and keep coughing and alerting your position, or cleanse and not be injured the entire game, but give the plague her power, which can insta-down you. Well, it can't, but it can enter you for a health state, and it can pretty much insta-down you in 5 seconds. So, would you rather do that, stay injured the whole game, or would you rather cleanse and give her your power? Because they kind of have to make a choice, and I like that aspect of it. It makes the survivors feel like they're actually involved with the killer's power, and it's not a thing that they just can't control. But anyway, the ghost face. Sorry, bud, but you're going in with Myers. These stealth killers, I just feel like they're not that good. Besides Pig. Pig is really good. But like, these, I just don't know. I just really don't like the stealth killers. Maybe it's just me, but also their power, I just don't think it's that good. Like, Ghostface's is basically Myers, except his grants the exposed status effect for only one survivor for 35 seconds, and it can make him all, like, when he's doing that, he has to stalk them for almost like 5 seconds in his stalk ability, also whilst not getting spotted by a different survivor. I just don't think he's that good, but that's just my opinion. I don't even have to explain myself for this one. The Demogorgon, literally one of the most balanced killers in the game. He can traverse through portals, which is great map conversal. Conversal? Oh my god. He can travel through his portals, which which can make him travel around the map a lot easier. And but survivors can actually seal those portals, and he doesn't get them back. And he also has a limit of 5 or 6, maybe 7. I think he has that much portals. I'm not really sure, but yeah. And he can, and also he has his lunge ability where he can lunge at survivors and insta break pallets and breakable walls. But yeah, I really think he's the most balanced killer in the entire game. The only, do I have to explain myself? He absorbs blood orbs, which he gets from hitting survivors with his basic attack. And then, if he absorbs enough of those, he goes into a state where he can pull out this big baton or whatever it is, and he can hit survivors and insta-down them in an instant. And he can also rush at them really fast, almost as fast as Billy's chainsaw, I believe, if not faster. And so, yeah, he's really good. like, I would say he's almost above Nurse, but not quite above Nurse. The Deathslinger. The Deathslinger, I feel he's gotten a bit into nerfs, but those nerfs aren't really that big, and they haven't really changed him much. So I would have to put him in a strong B, the top of the B list, because I just really like him. His power is his spear gun, and he can spear and reel in survivors. And if the survivors break out, I'm pretty sure they need to mend, if I'm not mistaken. And they also get injured, still, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, I don't think they get injured, but I think they have to mend. And you can reel them in, and you can actually hit them over of not pallets, but you can hit them over vaults. So yeah, I feel like he's really good. Anyway, on to Executioner. Sorry, he can mori people with his if he cages them, I think, for enough times or something. And if he walks in his wires, he can put them in cages instead of actually hooking them and doing in all that like stuff, having to carry them to the hook and then hook them, which can also shorten down the game a bit. And he can also hit survivors by pulling his knife into the ground and then pulling it back up, and it can hit them within the radius that they're standing in. It's kind of hard to explain, but if they're standing in the radius of that thing, like the line of sight, if they get injured. So yeah, but he's pretty good. Actually, yeah, now that I think of it, he's actually pretty good. I'll chuck him into B tier. The Blight. The Blight, I feel, most people are going to disagree with me, but he, I feel, is an S. He is really good if you get used to him. You can bounce into walls very fast, and then you can lethal rush, and you can hit them while you're bouncing that fast. And his cooldown from when he injects himself with that Blight serum after he's done bouncing, it literally takes like a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds, and that's about it. I feel like he's just a really good killer. He just is, in my opinion. But anyway, on to the twins. The twins are, I'd say they're on the B tier as well. There's a lot of B tiers I'm finding, but I'd say that they're on the B as well. Charlotte is basically just a normal killer that can hit survivors for 1 health state and do not much more than that. But she also has Victor, which she can dispatch from her organs, and then, like, it's disgusting, but yeah, basically she can do that, and then it can jump on the ground, and then it can run really fast, and it can find survivors, and basically he can just jump on their back and incapacitate them for, I'd say, roughly around 20 seconds, maybe, until they can actually get them off. And you can also pounce at them, and if the survivor is injured, it can insta-down them. So, yeah, be careful about Victor. I'd say that they're a solid B tier, maybe A or C, the way you look at it. Could arguably be a C or an A, but I say B is where it goes best. The Trickster. If we're talking about the old Trickster when it first came out, I'd probably chuck him in a C. But he got a bunch of buffs, I think. So I'll have to put him in an A. His knives are pretty unstoppable. I mean, he has, 44 of those things, and he only needs 8 to injure a survivor. Not to mention how fast he can throw those things, especially on main event, which lasts for like 20 seconds. Which I guess a very counterable thing to his main event is walkers, because there's not really much he can do by that point. But yeah, I'd have to say he's probably an A tier now. I'd have to say. And alright, on to the last killer, the Nemesis. No, I'm just kidding. He's on S tier. Not quite. I'd have to. I haven't seen a lot of gameplay with him, but from what I could extract and like his power and stuff, I'd say he's a solid A. I'd say he's an A as well. I'd say he's about an A. He can do his tentacle strike, which can infect survivors. Um, and they'll have to find like a box, and it looks really similar from the boxes that you get items from, except it's more metallic, and you can get inject a vaccine in there, and then if you inject the vaccine, it can allow you to get cleansed, kind of like plagues, and he can actually injure survivors by charging up his tentacle by hitting other survivors with his tentacle. And if you do that, he can injure survivors for a health state, break through pallets, and a number of other things. So, yeah, I'd have to say he's a pretty good killer. Not to mention his two zombies that traverse around the map, and they can hit you occasionally. And like normal zombies, they're pretty dumb. Let's admit, but yeah, I'd have to say they're pretty good. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. And I'll see you in the next video pretty shortly, hopefully. And yeah, guys, so see ya.